Hello and welcome to SnowRunner with me, Mark from DadX, and what we're going to do in this video is just run the tutorial mission but go a little bit off message, grab ourselves some extra upgrades, unlock an extra watchtower, deliver the load in such a way that saves us a lot of time, and ideally end up at the end of the tutorial with this pickup upgradable, another scout vehicle, upgrades for one of our trucks, and we've done it all in the same time frame that it would take you to do the tutorial if you did it the way the game just tells you to. There's nothing in here the game isn't going to tell you if you're a brand new player on the way. We start off here, we look at the map. So if we look at the map, the game wants us to head up and unlock this watchtower, and getting into that watchtower radius will unlock that radius of the map so we can see what's going on. But on the way there's a watchtower here, I've noticed. So just by going off the road up onto this track, we can head up here to unlock this. And then I know from playing the game a little bit further on that there's a vehicle upgrade up here that's very, very handy. So we're going to try to get those and head off. So we start the engine, handbrake off, and we'll head off, and the game's going to tell you everything you need to know, as I said, if you're brand new, about the basic concepts of the game and the vehicle control. And so about here we're going to get some advice about going into low gear ratio, which basically will drag you out if you're a bit stuck. It's not great to stay in it any longer than you need to. You use more fuel and you will stay slower, but this is more relevant. All-wheel drive is what we need, so that's now engaged. So instead of staying straight on this kind of mud track, we're going to turn off and go up this hill. Now we do not want to go through that horrible deep wet mud, we simply go round it, which is always an option. And sometimes you kind of, if you've not played this kind of game, and there's obviously been Spin Tires and Mud Runner and now this one, if you've got a history of playing games that have roads, in your head you might want to just stay on what looks like the way you should go, but in this game, no. It's all about the exploring and the finding your own route. So this little pickup is more than up to this kind of work. Upgraded, it's going to be even better at it. The one thing if you're new to this game that you might find a little bit odd is the steering, because if I stop here just for a second, put the handbrake on, if I steer over to the left and I've now released the controller, the steering doesn't self-center. It will to a degree when you're moving, but not as it would in any other kind of racing game or driving game. Now that will lead you, once you've picked up some speed, to kind of turn that way, but you don't self-center, so you keep going. So then you turn back that way, and also the steering is a little bit slow, and you do want it to not be self-centering and be slow when you're stuck out in the mud. Rest assured, that's true. But it's going to throw you a little bit on the road in that you're going to keep overcompensating until you get your head round that. And by faffing there, I've got stuck on a rock. So let's just go round that. Get through this little gap. We want a little bit of speed through here just to get over this drop down and not get wedged against a tree or a rock. There we go. And we're through. And try to keep moving. Momentum is your friend in this game for sure. And just avoid the mud. You know, just turn up onto the harder looking soil. Right, we're going to get into this watchtower. We'll do his little launch animation of where he's exposed. That's the bridge over there that we're going to fix during the tutorial. We now want to carry on up this hill. If you can see on the map now, we're going up this way. And we're going to carry on just following this ridge line along. We do have to keep an eye out for the junction, because some of them aren't too obvious where the turn off is that you need to take. And having to back up or turn around to get back to it can sometimes be the worst thing that could happen to you. So do take your time. Up here we've got to drive across these rocks, which are a little bit slippery. Just take it nice and easy. No worries. No worries at all. Well done, Mr. Chevy. There does seem to be a vehicle available as a pre-order or a DLC or something that is so kind of good at this kind of role that it kind of it takes the pain out of the game. I'm here for the pain. I think that's the turning. I'm going to put my brake on so we don't roll around. Yeah, that's where we need to turn right. So let's get around here. Keep on keeping on. Got a rock there. Oh, rocks are dangerous because like that they can get under the body of the car. Keep the wheels off the ground, so do watch out for them. Sorry, wrong stick. Zoomed out a little bit more. Would be handy. We do have headlights. The game doesn't tell you for quite a while, but it's left bumper and B on the Xbox. Doesn't tell you till it's very dark. Right. Let's follow this along. This is quite soft, this ground here. But as long as we keep moving, I think we'll be okay. And now through this little gap. As you can see, I mean, you wouldn't get any kind of actual truck even up here. Very slippery on that rock. We've got to get over this rock and through that gap in one go. There we are. Go, go, yeah. Sorted. Nice and gently, and remember the steering is slow and manual. When you're on these ledges, you can find yourself heading towards the edge if you're not quite paying attention. There we are. Straight up here, looks a little bit wet. We're going to avoid the wet. Stay up here. Very nice view from up here. Beautiful. Right, and when you get like that, or when I get that, just back off, just stop and start again. It's really hard to correct yourself. We don't want to roll off of this ledge, which we could easily do. There aren't many trees around to winch, so what we've got up here, this is the upgrade point. And we have got raised suspension for current vehicle. Now we can't apply that till we're in the garage, but as soon as we get this truck back to the garage, we can. So all we need to do now is get from up here, which, as I say, gets actually visible on your map when you unlock. I'm not sure, it might be this watchtower anyway, but anyway, we're up here and we've got it. So all we've got to do now is get back down here and we're back on course. So let's just turn around carefully so we don't go over the edge. Take the handbrake off, that's very handy. And straight back down the hill, and we can find ourselves the most direct route possible. So let's check the map here. Yeah, we're just going to go straight ahead, straight down here. Where's that? Oh, a little bit of damage, not to worry. Insignificant, barely an inconvenience. Right, we're going downhill, which is obviously on our side, but again, we still want to keep moving. We don't want to hit any of these trees. Lovely. We're actually kind of in a bit of a ditch here, so we're being guided down. Ah, there we go. Right, now we're back on mission. Reading the terrain. There's the water hazard, which literally this is just, you just slow down, don't hit that tree, because that will stop you and maybe get under your wheels. But apart from that, that's no kind of an issue. Don't need four-wheel drive when you're on tarmac, saves a bit of petrol. Fuel station, why not refuel while we're here? There's no cost, so always do it. It can only ever go wrong if you don't. Another very wet hole there, so again, if you want to, just go around it. We'll put the four-wheel drive back on. Alright, we're back on track. The tutorial is happy with us. And this is where we're supposed to be. Brilliant. More XP. Another lovely section of map unlocked. So if we look on the map, we now need to get down to find this truck, which is very easy to do. We just drive over this hill. And if you want to, once we're down here again, just stay out of that deep mud. You can cut across. That water there is very deep. I do know that, but if you want to, you can just cut across here, because we don't need roads. And what should we do? Sorry, I was going to say you can take down that chain fence. You don't get charged for it. I'd be happy if you did. But anyway, and we're here. We've got to the truck. It's the road truck. Switch to it by pressing the right combination of buttons. There we go. So now we need to go around and pick up. No, we need to pick up the mission first. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We need to pick up the mission. Steel River Township, old bridge reconstruction. Activate that. So now it wants us to go from where we are up to pick up the metal beams. Then there's the timber yard where we need to get wood, and we need to get a load of metal and a load of wood down to the old bridge. So the game is going to give us no more information than that. Now around the map you will notice there are numerous trailers. Some are loaded, some are not. And the game does tell you you're free to kind of help yourselves to them. I don't think you can unload a trailer just sort of randomly of what's on it. Although I might be wrong, correct me in a comment if I am. So you can't just grab any trailer you find, empty it. I found you can't anyway, excuse me. I'm a little drink there. This truck, absolutely lovely, no problems. It is not an off-road truck particularly. It's got road tyres, it's got road suspension, but it's going to get around up here okay. We can put it into low gear if we need to, but it's got no all-wheel drive, certainly as things stand. And again, once we get this onto the tarmac is when you will probably really notice the steering seem really odd. And it is simply that factor. So just get used to the fact you've got to self-center your steering wheel. So we're going to head into town. Well, there is nobody around. There's been a flood apparently. You would have thought there'd be a few people around doing something. But no, they're keeping out of our way. So we've got to head in there. Ooh. And we've got our load of metal. Fantastic. Off we go, and now the game is going to tell us to take it down to the bridge. It does tell us here there's a trailer right here. That's what I was talking about. I'm not even sure what is loaded on that trailer. But you could grab that trailer, but you couldn't then take it down and get another cargo on it, from what I've seen. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So we're going to crash through the non-compliant roadworks. No signage. How was I supposed to know it was there? And we are going to head... Where are we going to head? Oh no, we're taking the wrong turning. Down past the trailer park. And down towards the timber yard. Now you could have rushed to switch the pickup straight. No, we can't. No, take that back, scratch that bit. I'll edit that out. We haven't got a garage to do any upgrades in yet. It's a good idea to leave that pickup where it is. Well, a little bit of damage, but we're okay. We just want to keep going, really. That's the name of the game. And we're heading down to the timber yard rather than over to the bridge. And we're doing alright. Just take it easy. Off the gas into the corner. And you will get used to the steering. Right. Now, obviously, we've now got a load of wood to pick up, but we can't. We're full of metal beams. But I do have a playthrough going, and I did find this trailer over here. This trailer contains exactly the right amount of wood to go with this amount of metal to complete this mission over at the bridge. So we're going to turn around this truck. We're going to back up, straighten up the steering. This is where you need to keep an eye on the steering. You can misjudge things quite badly. I want to back up enough to be able to get the winch onto that trailer. There you go, done. Now I can drive out. I've got the trailer winched. Now I can winch the trailer onto me. You can either put your handbrake on or just give your truck a little bit of gas to compensate for the drag on the trailer, pulling you backwards. You certainly don't want to get stuck in the mud. New trailer discovered. Fantastic. And once we've got it winched right up to us, we can release the winch back up just a little bit there. Press the wrong button. No. Attach trailer. And we're off. We now have all the metal and all the wood we need to drop at the bridge in one run, rather than going to the bridge, coming back and getting the wood. And this has saved you the time we took to go and get that upgrade, I should say. And we have no trouble with this bag. And this truck, weedy as he looks, is going to have no trouble. And weedy as his stats look, he doesn't look at all weedy. But the game does tell you it's just a road truck. Obviously we're not in any kind of deep mud. We're certainly not in the snow of Alaska. But it's certainly doing the work here fine. Water splash here. Just keep going. Don't stop and think about it. Very bouncy. No hazards here at all. Just keep it going. Again, manage your steering or you will veer off like that. Chill out, start again. So this is something you'll see on the map. There are trailers sitting around with loads on them. And the mission just gives you a list of things you need to get to the area to complete the mission. So just do bear in mind that you can look around at what you've got and save yourself a lot of time. The one thing you do need to know is here you must bring the metal first, or unload the metal first, because rather than storing the materials it uses them. So you can't bring the wood first and then go and get the metal. So we're going to drop off the metal, and there's the metal frame. And we're going to drop off the wood, and there's the bridge. And job done. We need to go and find our garage. When you've got a trailer, you've got 3 camera views. You've got the truck, you've got the back of the trailer, or the centre of the trailer, I guess, or your in-car. There's the signposts that do work all over the map, so we want to go this way to our garage, put the headlamps on. The game still hasn't told us how to put the headlamps on. It's raining, I've no idea if that makes a difference to anything. And from here, just straight run down into the garage. There's a tree here to avoid on the road. And the rest of it is just a question of keeping trucking. A little bit gooey through here. If you do start to get stuck, just keep the steering wheel moving side to side. Often that is all you need to do to kind of crab your way, or whatever you want to call it, out of the predicament. We're doing fine. I don't need to use the winch, thank you. I don't need low gear. Once we get through that slippy bit, we'll be fine. There we are. And you can skip time whenever you like. If it starts getting too dark for you, no penalty, no fuel consumed. That's in the map screen. Press the Y button. We're in cab, just to make sure we don't crunch into anything too horrible here. Just keep going through this mud. We're going past the farm. Around the back to the garage. Okay, so we've discovered the garage. We've got the vehicle upgrade discoverable here. That's all-wheel drive for that truck that we've just discovered. So that's going to be great. Once we get that upgraded with all-wheel drive, we need to go into our garage. So, now we get to the garage. Before we do anything else, oh, we got unhitch the trailer. Sorry. Pro tip, unhitch your trailer. I could take it around the back and sell it. Right, so now from the garage screen, we're just going to press back onto the map screen. Oh no, it wants us to complete the tutorial. So, quickly complete the tutorial. All you need to do is quickly complete the tutorial. All you need to do is go to retain, go to the global map, go to Alaska, spend as much time as you want to do there. I'm going to do that very, very quickly. And I'll be back here just to show you how to go and get the other scout vehicle pretty much straight away. Okay, so we've travelled to Alaska and back to complete the tutorial. We are now back here. If we go straight into the map screen from the garage and then we select the Chevy pickup, we're going to go straight over here. Now remember, we did pick up a nice upgrade in the form of raised suspension for this vehicle, but we're not going to rush back to the garage to get that just yet because we're up over here. We'll take a quick look on the map. While we're here, before we take this all the way back across the map to the garage, we're going to unlock this watchtower and then that's going to reveal a vehicle that is really nice to get your hands on early game. So we're going to do that. Now I'm just going to head up to town. As you saw with the truck, it is no kind of challenge, so I shall join you when we're up in town heading up to the watchtower. So here we are, guys. We're just heading north out of town on that road. We're going to crash through the cone barrier. Very easy run out here, mostly tarmac. Going to four-wheel drive when you get back onto the rough stuff, and just keep moving. Avoid the mud as much as you can. And the telegraph pole. Right, now it gets very wet over here, so we want to cut across this solid bit of ground. Always do that if there's one available. Small trees and shrubs you should mostly be able to get through. Now it's very wet across there on the main central area. You can see that's pre-rutted. We want to stay out of those ruts, at least with one side of the vehicle, and just keep going across here. And we might get very slow, but we should not stop. If we get in the middle, we will bog down. So just stay up here. And that is a useful hint for pretty much every journey. Try to keep two wheels on solid ground whenever possible. So we've unlocked that one. We'll skip the little scene. We'll look on the map. We've got a vehicle right up here, Scout 800. So we're going to go off and get him. Still, remember, in the heroic stock Chevy pickup. Again, it's wet through here, so we need to try to keep moving. Try to make sure we're placing tyres on solid bits of land, not getting stuck on logs that are stuck in the mud. Here we just need to get across this bit and onto solid land as quickly as possible. Shift into low gear. Move the steering wheel from side to side, and if that doesn't work, you can try backing up a little bit. But this is where we get to winching. Now if you just press Y on your controller, you'll auto winch to something, which is usually all you really need, and then apply power with the vehicle and winch at the same time. It also puts less stress on the trees that might break. Now you can, of course, manually attach your winch, and you can choose your winch point here on your vehicle, and then once you've selected that, in fact we're going to select one on this side just to show that one, and then if we look over here we can choose which we're using up and down on the D-pad to choose the actual hitch point. So if we wanted to hitch to that one, if we wanted to get dragged that way, we can choose, but quite often the auto selection is fine. Back into normal gearing. We don't need to stay in low gearing now we're out of that wet stuff, and just meander on up this track. We'll check our map. Yeah, we need to be turning off down here. Little bit wet here. Low gear. I went into here too quickly, got myself stuck. I should have taken a little bit more of a careful route, but that's no worry. We can winch. We don't want to winch to there. This is where we want to maybe try a manual winch, so you can see it in action. So that winch point, and then we want to winch up to that tree. And that's going to be a much better, useful angle. And then we'll pull on the winch. As soon as we're moving, let go of the winch. Keep the momentum carrying forward with the car or the truck. And there we are. That's how you get yourself out with a winch. Just make sure the vehicle doesn't stop. If you can avoid that as much as possible, most of these journeys are going to be reasonably stress free. And it gets quite narrow up here, so there's a nice big rock as well. So this is where you really want to take your time with the steering. You don't want to be veering off onto the edge of these ledges, and you want to make sure you're not getting grounded on a rock. Of course, that'll be less of a problem when we do have the raised suspension fitted. And here we are. Lovely view. And even more lovely is the Scout 800 vehicle, which is now ours. So we can switch over to him, start using him straight away. He seems to already have better ground clearance, 4x4, permanent diff lock, switchable all-wheel drive. We're going to move this guy straight back free of charge to the garage. You're in the garage. We're going to go straight back to the map menu. We're going to go back to the Chevrolet. You may want to leave one of these Scout vehicles out here. I'm bringing them back to the garage so we can just check the upgrade situation. So we're going to get into there. We're going to recover you to the garage. Now if we look at the customization on the suspension, we have unlocked the raised suspension. We've got one unit. We don't even have to buy it. What I just want to check is whether the same unit would in theory fit to this. No, it won't. So it is specific to that vehicle. So there you go. So now we have, in the time it's taken us to do the tutorial, jacked up suspension on our Chevrolet, which can only help with getting around the map. The other advantage is, now that we've got that fitted, we can go into the tyre section, if I don't go straight past it, and we have unlocked a lot of the wider diameter off-road, all-terrain tyres. Not the off-road tyres yet. We have to unlock those out and about in the environment and by levelling up. But we can certainly put on some much better tyres. And that's going to make us much more mobile out in the field. But we're going to just, one more little thing, just so you're aware, because you might not see it for a while, is that there is another upgrade very close by. I do recommend that you go and unlock all of the watchtowers as soon as possible. We'll also see very briefly if we can sell that trailer for fast profit. So we're just going to cut straight down here opposite the garage. It's a bit wet. We need four-wheel drive on, thank you. It's a bit wet down in this bottom here. You might be better off cutting straight across the bushy bit, but we're doing okay. This is kind of a cutting the corner back to the farm, but I wouldn't want to bring the big truck this way for reasons that you will see. Right over here you can see a bit of glowy yellow. We've got another upgrade, which, because we haven't even been near the watchtower up here, this is the bridge that makes bringing a truck across here quite a challenge, but you can try it. And we've got raised suspension that will fit on the truck. So if we just go OK, we switch back to our fleet start. We're going to get this guy recovered into the garage. Look at him, he's all dead, he's all broken, he's got no fuel. Don't worry about that. You don't need to bring anything to him. You literally recover him into the garage. Now, the suspension doesn't fit this one, does it? No. But we can now, on this truck, put raised suspension on him also. There you go. So, at the end of the tutorial, which we saved a lot of time of, by the end of the tutorial, which we saved a lot of time on by taking the trailer full of wood and not having to go back and get another load, we've got jacked up suspension on our truck. We've got ourselves a Scout 800. We've got all-wheel drive, remember, that we can fit because we picked up the upgrade outside for the Fleet Star truck. And we've got our Chevrolet on raised suspension, even though we've left him out on the field. Okay, and we're just outside. We've got everybody outside the garage at the moment. Just to show you the thing that will save you the most time in this game, you can simply winch onto your mate. I suggest you pull him a little bit closer, and wherever you go, take him with you. If you get to a point on the map you want to leave him, or you can jump into him and go and scout ahead, the choice is yours, but I recommend that you try that as a little bit of a technique. It might be a little bit, I don't know, gamey, but Why not? And you can even do it, if you want to, with another truck. Just to get them across the map. It's really just to save that bit of getting them back to town where they're going to pick up the loads, etc. The trailers, by the way, behind us over there, they are ours. We can sell them, we can use them. I have sold the one that I brought back from the tutorial mission. You get the same money it would cost to buy it, so you can either spend that cash on upgrades or you can save it for when you need another trailer. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you have, please leave it a like, leave it a comment. Any ideas, anything I've missed or any suggestions are always welcome. Subscribe if you want to stay in touch. I do have a playthrough going. I've just started up as well. So if you want to look in on that, feel free. You're always welcome. Take care. Hope the lockdown isn't doing your head in too badly. Look after everybody and goodbye.